Hi, welcome to Russ's Kitchen. I've got a great recipe here for a British Indian restaurant classic. It's my version of Rogan Josh. Doesn't take an awful lot of preparation, absolutely delicious. So let's have a look at what we're going to use. Now, Rogan Josh, normally associated with lamb. I'm going to be using chicken for this particular recipe. I like the way chicken works with this, really good, but as with all Indian recipes, whatever meat you want to use is entirely up to you. Let's have a look at some of the spices. We've got 2 tablespoons of paprika, a teaspoon of Kashmiri chili. Now you can use just normal chili powder if you want to, but Kashmiri chili, much more subtle, and it also adds to that lovely red colour that we associate with Rogan Josh. A tablespoon of ground cumin. We've got a tablespoon of mix powder. Now I've crushed some cardamom pods, taken the seeds out and ground them and discarded the husks. About 4 to 5 cardamom pods is about right. 125 ml of tomato puree, 2 tomatoes, a tablespoon of garlic and ginger paste, and finally 250 ml of curry sauce. So let's have a look first of all at how we make this curry sauce. Let's make our curry sauce. Now, curry sauce or curry gravy in an Indian restaurant is the base sauce that they use pretty much for most of their curries that they're going to be making. The idea being that you've got a base to work with that's already made, it's quick. All you need to do is add in the various spices, meat, whatever else you're going to need. That's what gives each individual curry its distinct flavour. On its own, the base sauce is actually quite bland. It's basically pureed vegetables, onion, with a few spices mixed in, but it does make a huge difference and it gives a very unique Indian style flavour. So let's have a look at what we're going to be putting into this base sauce. I've got a red pepper, a tomato, couple of onions. Spice wise, we're going to be using half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of paprika, a quarter teaspoon of turmeric, and a quarter teaspoon of ground fenugreek. I'm going to finely chop the onion. If you haven't finely chopped an onion, or if you're not quite sure how to finely chop an onion, let me show you my technique. Peel the onion, cut it in half, leaving the root on. Then with a very sharp knife, and it's very important for anything like this, please use as sharp a knife as you can. Be very careful. What I'm going to do is cut into the onion as far up to the root as I can. Quite a few strokes. And then again, being very careful with this sharp knife, I'm going to cut horizontally into the onion. If you've got a really big onion, you might be able to get 2 slices into that, but this size onion, 1 horizontal slice is perfectly enough. And then all we have to do is cut very gently, going down across. Make sure your fingers are well out of the way. You don't have to be quick. You'll see TV chefs doing this at an incredible speed. Don't worry about it, they've been doing it for absolutely years. Do what you feel comfortable doing. And there, as simple as that, finely chopped onion. I'm now going to do the rest of them. Onto our red pepper. I'm just going to roughly cut this. It doesn't need to be anything special. And the tomato I'm going to de-seed and again cut that up fairly roughly. Now that we've got everything chopped up, I've got a medium-sized saucepan on a medium to high heat. I'm going to go and put about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil into the pan. That's going to heat up pretty quick. And then I'm going to add the onion. And also the red pepper. Turn the heat down a little bit on that and give it a mix round. And what we're looking for is for those onion and peppers to get nice and soft, but what we don't want to see is any brown colouring if we can help it on the onion. Just need to soften it down, and that's probably going to take about 5 minutes. Let's put in the rest of our ingredients to our onion and pepper mixture, which is already now nice and soft. So now we go in with all our wonderful spices. So we're going to have paprika, cumin, ground coriander, turmeric, and when you add fenugreek, something really amazing happens. Straight away, once we've added that, we're going to start to smell suddenly like an Indian restaurant curry house. Incredible. When you put in dry spices, always add just a little bit of water initially, just to help them cook. Don't let ground spices cook on their own. Mix that round. Add in our garlic and ginger paste. Again, give that a good mix. And trust me, the smell is now absolutely incredible. So now that's all mixed together, we're going to add in a little bit more water, just so it covers all the ingredients. Turn the heat up slightly, and we're going to let that cook down and reduce. Now once it's reduced by about half, I'm going to take it off the heat and we're going to transfer that into a food processor. You could always just take it off the heat and use a hand mix. Doesn't really matter, it's entirely up to you. Food processor's a lot easier. And then the process starts with adding more water so that we get a nice smooth curry sauce that's about the texture of full fat milk. So we've transferred our mixture into our food processor. I'm going to add in some water, just a little bit to start off with, and then we're going to blend this and keep adding water until we get that consistency that we are looking for, which, as I said, kind of like full fat milk. So let's start blending. And that's pretty much done. So we've now got our base sauce, our base curry gravy. Now, when you're making Indian food at home, you don't want to do this every time you're going to make a curry. So do a batch like this, divide it up, let it cool down, put it in the freezer, and then just defrost it whenever you want. So now our curry sauce is made, we're now going to cut up our chicken into decent size chunks and also then cut up our tomatoes. We've got everything chopped up now, everything's ready to go in. This is what is great about Indian cookery. Get everything prepared, get your workstation organised, and it's going to make actually cooking the meal so much easier. We're about to put our chicken in. Now, a lot of British Indian restaurant cooking, they will use pre-cooked meat, which is obviously much more practical if you're dealing with a restaurant full of people and you've got to get the food out nice and quickly, which is why, again, they use a base curry sauce. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to seal our chicken. Not going to cook it through, just seal it, give it a little bit of colour. You can, if you want to, use pre-cooked chicken, pre-cooked meat, really doesn't matter. So let's put the chicken in and get it sealed. So we've sealed our chicken. We're going to actually remove this now from the pan. We've got a little bit of juice left in there. I'm just going to pour that away. We don't really want that. Back onto the heat, and we're going to go back in with about 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. And let that heat up. Turn the heat down to about medium heat on that. And then we're going to put in our garlic and ginger paste. And let that cook off. And as always with garlic and ginger paste, you know when it's cooked off, that raw smell is going to disappear and it's going to become much nicer, much more subtle. So now we're going to add in our paprika. And our Kashmiri chili. And on top of that, we put in our tomato puree and let that bubble away. Maybe turn the heat up just a touch. And already you can see we're actually now starting to get some really lovely red colour coming out. which is perfect for a Rogan Josh. Okay, so that's bubbling away really nicely. We're going to put in our curry sauce. About half of what we've got there. Another stir around. Quite a high heat. And we're just going to let that bubble away. So that's now bubbling away really nicely. Let's put the last of our spices in. Our mixed spice. And our ground cumin. Ground cardamom. And at this stage we're going to put our tomato in and our chicken. A little pinch of salt. And I'm going to put the lid onto this and let it simmer away for about 20-25 minutes. There you are, British Indian restaurant curry Rogan Josh, straight out of your own kitchen.